Broncos have a new coaching staff, obviously. I'm wondering what you guys think. Which of these coaches is going to make the biggest impact on this team? Is it going to be the offensive coordinator, Rick Dennison? Is it going to be the defensive coordinator, Wade Phillips? Or will it be the new defensive line coach, Bill Collar? Gentlemen,
Bill Collar is human Red Bull. He's caffeinated, he's crazy, and he's fun to watch at practice, but he's still the D-line coach. For me, the one who has to make the biggest difference as they redefine this team under Kubiak is Wade Phillips. Not Dennison. Dennison and Kubiak, I know, get linked together. Their offense is going to be their offense. It's going to be a good offense. And so, but the defense, Woody, turnovers. Welcome back. Come back, turnovers. We missed you. You know Wade Phillips way better than I do, Woody. For me, it's Wade Phillips because there's going to have a defense that blitzes. They're going to be aggressive. It'll result in them giving up some chunk plays, but they're going to get turnovers.
I would like to go back. You went back on Kubiak and running and passing. We say that, but I'd like to see Wade Phillips's turnovers over the years. Wouldn't that be a fair comparison of when he was here before?
Sure.
The rules have changed, but when he was, if somebody could look it up, that during the period of time he was in Houston, because he went in there and really did improve the
they went
defense.
from like last to top 10.
I'd be curious, and I don't have the answer, and maybe I shouldn't bring it up, but I'd be curious how many sacks they had. They had Watt come in. He was there when Wade rejoined them from Dallas. Sat out a year. I'd be curious to see how many turnovers they had. It's not Dennison. Dennison is an extension of Kubiak. So you should put Kubiak in there of which assistant coach is going to have the most influence, because Kubiak's the offensive coordinator. He's already said he's going to call the plays. Dennison's always been kind of the guy behind the scenes. Is that fair? He's the grinder. He's the guy that gets the job done. But he was like that he was like that under Mike Shanahan.
Right.
Shanahan, we know, was the offensive coordinator. It seemed like it. So when McDaniels came in, he got rid of him, got McCoy. Last year, he was the quarterback's coach
in Baltimore.
So was that Kubiak or was that Dennison? Dennison, I think, is a hard worker, smart guy. He's been around the game as a player, to coach for a long time. It's got to be Wade Phillips. The defensive line is not going to be that important. I mean, I just don't believe it's going to be. If you listed positions, I think we'd say a quarterback.
Well, wait, I think from
back,
stopping the run standpoint, the defensive line is awfully important. Awfully important.
If you were going to list all the different positions, how would you list them? Would you start with quarterback, because Manning, running back, because are they going to be able to run the football? Offensive line, can they?
Yeah, left tackle.
You and I talk about it all the time. They don't need to protect Manning. They need to just keep people off him at some point in the process and open up holes for the running game. Wide receivers, Demaryius Thomas, you talked about it. Is he going to be a mental case? Because, I'm sorry, I'm kind of reworking it, but is he going to be mentally not up to the task because he's going to be upset? How is Corey going to fit in? How are they going to replace the Wes Welker that was here a couple of years ago? The defensive secondary with a new deep safety.
Right, Darian Stewart.
Quote, free safety, even though they got two strong safeties. Cornerbacks, how good are they going to be? Linebackers, now that you got 8 of them out there, possibility of, with Shane Ray, that they're going to have 5 or 6 of them on the field. I think I would say to you, the defensive line to me is like the least important position here.
I would so disagree with that.
Well, dude.
I just told you, they've got to stop the run. You're going to get your pass rush from the linebackers. You're going to blitz every once in a while a safety or a corner, but that defensive line has to hold the fort. I mean, they will tell you that they are trying to rebuild that defensive line and offensive line, and it's extremely important to them. But back to the initial question, I'm going to make it unanimous. Wade Phillips, to me, is the most important guy. The most important of those 3 coaches we talked about. From an attitude and an aggressiveness standpoint, they need that because it was terribly vanilla, terribly boring, and terribly predictable last year with Jack Del Rio as the defensive coordinator.
But the one thing they did, Les, they set a record in yards allowed, fewest rushing yards allowed per game. The conservative scheme, it protected Del Rio in that they always stopped the run. The problem was they never had great turnovers.
Right.
When you set their defense the way they did, they were built to stop the run. It was an old school defense, but it never manifested into turnovers.
That's why aggressiveness underweight is more important.
Well, exactly, but they may give up more yards on the ground, and they probably will.
Prioritize to me the different position areas.
Well, right now it's linebacker and defense because they don't know who's going to be their linebackers. Danny Trevathan thought he had a replaced kneecap. He didn't have it replaced. He just had his kneecap fixed. He missed all of last year, and he's coming back on a redone knee. And Brandon Marshall is playing with a Liz Frank injury where the recovery is 6 months. He's probably not going to be healthy until the middle of September. That's the biggest question for me.
Well, and then DeMarcus Ware, where is he?
Yeah, where is he in his career? And if he is continues to trend down like he did last year, 1 sack over his last 7-8 games, Shane Ray suddenly becomes a very, very important draft pick.
So the turnovers, the secondary's got to create.
It's going to be coming from Chris Harris, Talib, and Talib's a big play. He gives up some big plays, but he comes up with big plays. The guy that the biggest difference I think you're going to see in that regard to turnovers is T.J. Ward let loose in the middle of the field, a thumper. We didn't see that player because he was playing linebacker most of the time.
That segment sponsored by the Lake Street Tavern. 3 bars under one roof, 18,000 square feet, and 60 HD TVs. It's located just a couple of blocks north of Coors Field, and it has been named Denver's best sports bar for 3 years in a row by Westward. It's the Blake Street Tavern. It's at 23rd and Blake.